Good afternoon, everybody. Like I promised, Kent Bierly with the first official from the anbf studios located at Pure Focus Sports Club in Brick, New Jersey. This is live and uncut. This is from the desk of the anbf prez, which that's who I am. For those of you that don't know me, Kent Bierly, president of the anbf, which is the American Natural Bodybuilding Federation. A big day yesterday in natural bodybuilding. Always people talking. Three big shows. We got a pro show in Philadelphia along with a big amateur show. We got the show down in Richmond, which has obviously created a lot of controversy. Not really sure if I want to get into that on this format, but there's a lot going on about that. And then Mike Halsey had his show up in Schenectady, New York, which is where I was at. As you can see, I have one of my masks that I wear in the show. And this goes out to Mike Halsey. Hey, Mike, I have a perfect utilization of my fifth place trophy that I got. It's very good at holding up my buddy werewolf mask. See, I'm just kidding though. It actually is very good. And as far as my fifth place, I know I got what I deserved. You can't show up at any pro show, really any show, really, but specifically a pro show. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be in your backyard. Let me just move my little buddy out of the way. He is a little spooky. You can't show up at any pro show and not be the way you want to be. See all the stuff in the background? You guys didn't see it? I got some cool stuff. It's almost like a museum back there. So you can't show up really any pro show and not expect to, you got to be your best because you never know who's going to show up. I knew I wasn't my best going in. I told you guys that I was heavy. I tried some different things. I tried a different carving up process. For those of you that do know, I do the keto diet, and it really works well for me for cutting down and getting ready for a show. But there are times where I do struggle with filling up for a show. Sometimes I come in flat. And then I'll go eat a meal and I'll come in later on looking 10 pounds heavier. Now, I walked into the show at a heavier weight. I was about I was 174 that morning. And generally my competition weight's 165 and below. Different supplementations and different type of diet, still keto, but different combinations of foods, better supplements. Different cardio, but my weight was heavier. I was leaner, obviously 2 or 3 days before the show, but what I did, I carved up 2 days. Normally I just carb up that morning, and that's generally all I need to fill up and get it going. But I did some research, and I kind of used this show as basically an experiment, knowing that I was leaving myself out there to lose. And I hate to lose, but sometimes you gotta, you go ahead, you move on. So I carved up. Well, carving up, it's really not really much. I was having 20 grams extra a meal, which to everybody else is not enough for a meal, but that's what I was having. And by the time I got to Friday afternoon, I realized that my body was full of carbs already because I don't utilize carbs because I'm on a keto diet. And then when I woke up Saturday morning, I was squishing. And for those of you that were there and you saw the show, you saw how I was sweating. I never ever sweat during prejudging. I could be out there all day and I won't sweat. Unless it's 1,000,000 degrees, then obviously I'm going to sweat. But I never sweat. And I never sweat so much than I did yesterday. I sweat more yesterday than I have in all 14 shows combined last year. So what I didn't work. Now maybe it's a combination of me being fuller already, more muscle mass. And yeah, it's hard to believe at 49, almost 50 years old that you could actually still put on muscle. But I'm still amazed by it. But sometimes things just work out right. So I know that there's probably about a good 6 to 7 pound different swing from last year. So if my ideal weight last year was 158, 160, then I know I need to be 168. So my goal now going forward is I have a show in 7 weeks. That's my prime goal. I was going to do a show in 2 weeks. I still might do it, but my main focus right now is doing the Ken Arsenal show up at UMass, which my old hunting ground, if you want to call it that. My old hunting ground up at UMass for the the World's Masters Challenge. It's always a great show. Last year I lost to my buddy Pepper, Anthony Blake, by basically one pose. That's how close it was. He was a little thicker. So now I think this year might be different. But actually, if I come in at a higher weight, I might not even be in the lightweight class. I might be in the heavyweight class because they just split it basically down the middle, which I'd like to see it more of. I don't see why you have to have 10 and 10. Why can't it be 12 and 8? Why can't it be 13 and 7? I don't think it's fair to split it down the middle like that. I understand you want to split it, but nowhere. I don't. Sometimes there's always a couple people that get thrown into different divisions that don't belong there. So you have 8. You have 10 guys that are around 160. Then you have 2 guys that are 175. But yet, okay, you have 20 guys total. Then you're going to take the 8 guys that are around 190, and you got to throw the 2 guys around 170 in the mix. That's not right. I don't see why we can't have 12 in one class and 8 in another. Or, for that matter, why can't you have 7 in one class and 13 in another? You want to be fair. If you're not going to disclose the weight classes beforehand, I believe that you should make the classes as fair as possible. Nowhere does it say 10, 10, 10, 7, 7, 7. I do a similar thing at my show where I basically have gotten rid of the weight classes, and I will divide the classes up based on the amount of competitors we have. So if I have 20 people or 21 people in the open class, I can tell you right now I won't be 777. I will group the people together as much as possible. If it means that I have 9 guys in the lightweight class and I have 4 guys in the middleweight class and then 8 guys in the heavyweight class, that's what I'll do, because you know what? That's what's fair. You want to have people competing on a fair playing ground. So, that's one thing I can put out there. If you guys, I don't know, Kenny, if you watch, or James, you guys, if you watch my videos, actually, now that being, I got into this, the anbf, to try to make it better. It's one thing that always bothered me is that it shouldn't be split evenly. It just shouldn't be. It should be split based on the group of weights. I don't know, back in my statistics days, if that's the medium, that's not the average. There's got to be a number that where the numbers fall in, whatever. All you guys, statisticians, can go through that. But it doesn't need to be split evenly, 777, for it to be a good show. You want it to be fair. For example, last year, Neil Rodriguez was in the heavyweight class, but yet I think he was only 5 pounds heavier than the guys in the lightweight class. So and I'm curious to see. I know the weight classes at the IFPA Richmond show were the same way. You split it down the middle. It's not right. So that's just my my soapbox on that. I got 7 minutes to go before I get disconnected. One thing that Mike Halsey did do, which was awesome. I was wavering and not doing the show, but I don't like backing out on shows. I'll support Mike till the end of the earth. So I went up there, and then my wife is yelling at me that I got to get ready before the show starts. I'm like, why? So, needless to say, my buddy Mike, again, I accept this award with mixed emotions. It's Mike gave me an awesome plaque, National Bodybuilding Lifetime Achievement Award, presented to King, Kent Bierly. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see. That's right, King, because that's what it says. There we go. The King. All right, so Mike gave me that. Let me leave this on while I'm talking about this, because it does say the King. So when you think of Life Achievement Awards, it makes you, where's my head going? When you think of Lifetime Achievement Award, it makes you feel like you're old and washed up. I mean, I do appreciate the award. It was honored. I actually got tears in my eyes when he was talking. He was talking about somebody. I'm like, damn, that person's me. He's talking about. I said, that Mike always got something up his sleeves. What's up? So, oh, my crown is gone. So, oh, there's back. So I was honored to accept it, and it is an awesome honor. And the crowd was great. I hope they liked my routine. I did my werewolf act, come out, have a good time, run up and down the stairs. And my big fat ass did fit in my trunk, so I was actually amazed at that. But my costume doesn't fit anymore, so I gotta get a new one. Let me get rid of that crown. So needless to say, Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm not done yet. I still got time left. I'm trying to focus more on the behind the scenes stuff. That's why I started this new organization. So that's it for that. One thing I do want to go over as my psychological. I got 5 minutes to go. My psychological minutes for this thing is, yesterday's a perfect example. What do you do after you're in a show? What do you do if you don't finish how you wanted to finish? You lay an egg. You're close. You do terrible. You know what? And people that know me know that I'm not one. I used to get mad. I used to get pissed off. I used to be like, how dare they? I won. Blah blah blah. First thing you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be honest. Okay, how did I look? I knew going in that I was that I wasn't ready. I wouldn't say I was out of shape, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't the king. I wasn't what I needed to be. But I knew that going in, and I was experimenting. So I know that. Okay, so then you get feedback. Okay, if you ask for feedback, when the person gives you feedback, you can't jump down the throat. So when I ask my wife for feedback, of course she says stuff that I don't want to hear. So you gotta be like, you take it and you listen, and then you talk to some of your buddies. Because you're gonna have people that are gonna say you're the greatest no matter what. Oh, you looked awesome. You looked awesome. No, I didn't. I got fifth. I sucked. So, needless to say, you gotta listen. You gotta You gotta get the feedback. You gotta be open-minded. You gotta plan the next show. The bottom line is, you gotta regroup, come up with a plan, and what you're gonna do for the next show. I know. I got 7 weeks. I already got my plan figured out, and you can damn well bet when I show up at UMass at Amherst, Massachusetts, the home of the Minutemen, I spent a lot of time in Amherst. I won't make the same mistake twice. You can guarantee I'll be 165, 166, and I'm going to be shredded to the bone, because that's what I do. So, 7 weeks. I got my cardio plan all done. I have my carb up plan ready to go. I'm ready to go because I sat back, discussed it on the way home with my wife, discussed it with people there, my buddy Vince, a lot of the competitors. Actually, what a great bunch of guys. Want to congratulate Ben Rodriguez. He looked awesome. But Ben, man, you got to work on that tan. I mean, if you want to hire me to do your dream tan, I'm there. You tell me where you need me, I'll do it. You got to tan your ass up. But you looked awesome. Greg, that little bastard, you were friggin' shredded to the bone, and I am so proud of you. And it was awesome to see how much improvement you had from last year to this year. You did a hell of a job, and it makes me proud. And I'm honored to know that you watch the videos and you actually pay attention and you do what I show you, which is great. And I can't wait to get you and Chris Jenkins down here for a workout, because we'll have a blast. I don't know if Jersey Shore is ready for you two mountaineers, but it was awesome to see how great you did. Your team was crazy. Lamar, you're always on the money, buddy. You're there all the time. You're top 5 no matter what show you show up at. And Matt Carey, 4th place. What can I say? You're the thickest small guy I've ever seen. You're not even small anymore. So I don't even know what to say, but it was great to see you. And the rest of the guys, Isaac and Dami and the other Greg. It was good to work out. It was good to be with you guys. I had a great time. Remember, I only got a minute to go. It's just the first show for many people. My first show. What happens in May doesn't always happen in November. Remember, it's a long season. You got to regroup. You got to get your information right. You got to get honest opinions from people. And if you sucked, you sucked. So I sucked. I wasn't ready. I wasn't the king, but I still had a good time. It was great being up there. I love seeing all those people up there. Love hanging out with Halsey and seeing my buddy Pete, he's my judging director for the anbf. All right, I got to go. I got 15 seconds to go. So that's the first edition of whatever I'm trying to say from the desk of the anbf prez. I'll see everybody tomorrow with the exercise of the day. Okay, that's it. Stay focused.